How's it going, everyone? IAmTheShazz here with the video going over the events for the month of December on the All-Stars Global Server. The events that I will list will follow the acceleration on the global server following the Story Chapter 17 update. While this information will most likely follow this order, the length of the events and banners are subject to change, as I think there is a possibility that the calendar slows back down at some point. At the beginning of the month, we start with the Spotlight banner, featuring the Present For You Ayumu UR or Ayumu 3 and SR Koi Aqua Chica. Speaking of Chica, this SR is okay, but not great. Optimal for Dreamlight Parade, this Chica gives you another semi-viable natural attribute scoring SR alongside Snow Halation Kotori. While her stats don't get close to what Kotori can when you compare the two at max limit break, this Chica will do just fine, though her kit is not amazing, with the most notable detriment being her LSA. The Present For You Ayumu UR is a little bit of a weird one. An elegant attribute SP type, this card is a decent flex card if you need one, especially in lineups where you're running multiple elegant attribute cards in your frontline. She slides in with a base 5478 appeal, 3603 stamina, and 6574 technique, giving her a 34.34 crit rate, which, for non-fest elegant attribute URs, actually puts her in second place behind Initial Yohane for highest crit rate in the attribute at limit break 0. Her tap active is the weak SP gauge gain tap active, which only boosts the gauge gain of other elegant type cards by 5.8% for the next 10 notes, meaning to fully maximize her tap active, she needs to be in a fully on attribute frontline. Her passive is the first of the brand new hybrid abilities, giving a 4.6 appeal boost in addition to a 2% stamina buff to all other elegant attribute cards at skill level 3. Her LSA is the weakest part of her kit, which gives a guaranteed voltage boost of 7% of her appeal every time you use your SP gauge. Her viability as a frontliner does increase as she gains limit breaks, but because of her weaker tap active, I would rather run something like Initial Yohane over this card. During the Spotlight banner, we should be getting an update to Dreamlight Parade. Yes, everyone's favorite event will have stages 31 through 50 unlocked. Luckily for us, I don't think that K-Lab will be dumb enough to reset the event again and risk alienating a larger swath of the player base. With this update, however, we get introduced to the attribute gauntlets. Everything following Love You My Friends comes in either pairs or triplets, utilizing all of the same attribute. This makes a much harder grind to get to stage 50, the end of the trial tower. And the voltage requirements on the songs aren't a walk in the park either. Budget and free-to-play players, don't be discouraged by this. Just continue to get as far as you can, as these towers, while they may disappear for a while, will come back and give you multiple more opportunities to clear for DLP tokens and star gems. Following Dreamlight Parade, we should be getting the Toy Shop Panic Marathon event, featuring Event UR I3, Event SRs Koi Aqua Daya and Wonderful Rush Pana, Gacha URs Nico 5 and Yo 5, and Gacha SR Love You My Friends Karen. As with most event SRs, Koi Aqua Daya, a pure attribute voltage type, and Wonderful Rush Pana, an active attribute guard type, are nothing particularly special. Both of them do help you out in Dreamlight Parade, but their passive abilities and live show actives are both very poor, rendering them as just ways to increase your bond level and just general card filler. The event URI isn't immune from this either. A pure attribute SP type, much like the Steam Maiden Nico and Sports Battle Setsuna event URs before her, this card suffers from weak stats and a weak set of abilities. At limit break 1, I bounces in with 4772 base appeal, 4132 base stamina, and 5504 base technique, giving her a 31.19% crit rate. Her passive boosts her own appeal by 8.5% at skill level 4, which you will acquire after you get her second copy upon event completion. This will help boost her tap active, which gives a voltage boost to the next SP gauge by 31% of her own appeal, activating at a 33% rate. Her live show active, if activated upon AC completion, increases the skill activation rate of all members by 10% for the next 10 notes, which is the same LSA as Prelude Riko, or Riko 2. though Ai's LSA will only activate 40% of the time, whereas Riko's will activate 50% of the time. Overall, because this card doesn't take advantage of her highest stat, her technique, it's another in the line of indistinguishable random event cards. The first part of the gacha banner gives the best UR out of the three, Toy Shop Panic Yo or Yo 5, an active attribute voltage type, yes I know, another one. This Yo is an absolute powerhouse for a non-fest gacha card. At Limit Break 0, she comes in with 6703 base appeal, 3670 base stamina, and 5586 base technique, giving her a 16.43% crit rate. Before you start, yes, we will get into the Blue Amore Umi comparisons at the end. Her tap active provides an appeal boost to all other members by 5.6% at skill level 3. Her passive provides an appeal buff to all other active cards by 4.6% at skill level 3. And her LSA, if activated upon switching strategies, increases the appeal of other attribute cards by 1% per voltage type card in your formation, though only activating once during a live and only for the next 10 notes. As far as the comparison to Blue Amore Umi, or Umi 2, each card has their merits. At max limit break, Toy Shop Panic Yo has almost 1200 more base appeal than Blue Amore Umi, but Umi's passive and live show active are less restrictive when it comes to your main scoring strategy. Both cards are fantastic options in the active attribute if you lack Fest Setsuna or aren't able to pull on the upcoming Fest Kanan banner, but Yo does provide a little more flexibility from the backline than Umi does. Overall grade, 10 out of 10 Yosoros.
Yosoro!
The second part of the event gacha gives us Toy Shop Panic Nico, or Nico 5. A cool attribute guard type, Nico clocks in with 4468 base appeal, 7181 base stamina, and 4309 base technique, giving her a 12.67% crit rate. Unfortunately, this card's kit of abilities severely hamper her viability as a frontline sustain card. Her tap active reduces damage taken by 21% for the next 5 notes at skill level 3. Her passive only increases the stamina of other cool cards by 4.6% at skill level 3, and her live show active, when activated upon switching strategies, gives a guaranteed stamina heal of 30% of her stamina, though you can only trigger this skill a total of 2 times per live. As with other damage reduction tap active guard cards, this card will rarely ever see your frontline, mainly being relegated to stamina stick duties, much like Initial Honoka, Fest Maki, Magical Time Daya, and Steam Maiden Kanata. The event gacha SR, Love You My Friends Karen, is, much like the other cards associated with this event, very meh. A cool attribute SP type card, she has a Gauge Bomb tap active, a passive that increases the technique of other cool cards, and a live show active that just adds 4% of her technique to the SP gauge. The best part about this card is that luckily, all of her abilities line up with her best stat, her technique. Following the end of the Toy Shop Panic Marathon event, we get the Story Chapter 18 update, which brings the attribute version of Loveless World and Miracle Wave. First, let's start with Loveless World, one of my favorite Muse songs. This is a Smile attribute song that is relatively straightforward and, for the most part, should be pretty easy. The song boasts a 4 million voltage score to S rank on Advance, but with a cleansable 20% off attribute appeal debuff, so if your stronger cards are not Smile attribute cards, bring a cleanser. Appeal chances are also straightforward, with all of them being voltage based. The only issue with the song comes with 10k damage notes, most coming in a row. However, this is offset by stamina shield bonuses you receive upon AC completion, so all in all, it's still not that hard. The second song that comes with the Story Chapter 18 update is Miracle Wave by Aqua, an active attribute song that is in many ways like Wonderful Rush. The voltage needed to S rank this song, 8.49 million, will seem extremely high, especially if you do not own powerful active attribute cards like Fest Setsuna and Blue Amore Umi at or close to max limit break. The song is not cleansable, hitting you with a base 20% appeal debuff to off attribute cards, so team building here does become a little more restricted. There is one factor that does make the song easier than what it appears to be on the surface. This song has a note total of 179, and if you clear all 5 ACs, you end up with voltage bonuses totaling over 1.5 million, bringing the raw voltage total you need to clear the song down to the 7 million range. There are 5 appeal chances in the song, with the most troublesome being the third, which occurs right before the chorus. This AC, Activate 9 card skills, gives a skill activation rate up to guard type cards, forcing you to create a guard type only strategy, much like Ketsui no Hikari. Outside of that, you have 2 voltage based ACs and 2 SP gauge pop ACs, so just be mindful when they occur during the song and you should be fine. In addition to the Story Chapter 18 update, we get the next Fest banner, featuring Fest UR's Honoka and Riko, with the highlighted SRs being Wonderful Rush Nozomi and Love You My Friends Emma. First, quickly on the highlighted SRs. Of these two, Wonderful Rush Nozomi is the more useful of the two, especially for Dreamlight Parade, as all of her abilities help boost appeal, technique, and crit values of cards in her strategy. Love You My Friends Emma, however, is another damage reduction tap active guard type card, though she does give another switch cleanser to add to your lineup of cards, which is her only saving grace. The first of the Fest URs we will go over is Honoka, a Smile attribute voltage type that is a fantastic scorer. She comes in with 6954 base appeal, 3993 base stamina, and 6430 base technique, giving her an 18.91% crit rate. Her tap active and passive abilities are both fantastic, with her tap active giving an appeal boost to all cards in the same strategy by 8% at skill level 3, and her passive is the best for frontline scoring, boosting the appeal of all cards in the same strategy by 6% at skill level 3. Her LSA is the weakest part of her kit, however, only granting a guaranteed voltage boost of 100% of her appeal at the start of the live. While not optimal because she's not a first year card, you can run her with Cat Hoodie Rin, Parade Pana, or Mononoke Arena to create a formidable Smile scoring team that can help you pass those pesky Advance Plus songs. The second Fest UR is Riko, an active attribute guard type. Her baseline stats at Limit Break 0 look like this: 5039 appeal, 7120 stamina, and 5206 technique, giving her a 15.31% crit rate. Her tap active provides a stamina heal of 34% of her own stamina, but her passive and life steal actives are considerably weaker since they are tied to same attribute cards, with her passive increasing the stamina of other active attribute cards by 4.6% at skill level 3, and her life steal active, if activated on her own taps, increases voltage gain of other active attribute cards by 8%, but only for the next 2 notes and activating at a 15% rate, or roughly 1 out of 6 times she taps. Of the active attribute guard type URs, she does sport the highest appeal, but she only truly shines if she's in a strategy with Fest Setsuna, Fest Kanon, Toy Shop Panic Yo, or Blue Amore Umi. Shortly after the start of the Fest banner, we will be getting the 5th official SBL. As always, I will do a separate video for SBL, but to give you a preview, the songs for this SBL are Bokura wa Ima no Naka de for Muse, Mirai no Bokura wa Shiteru yo for Aqua, and Tokimeki Runner's Chapter 17 version for Nijigasaki. The attribute bonus for this SBL is given to the Muse girls. The next event, which by my calculations will come in the 3rd week of December, is the Badass Image Change Plan Exchange event, featuring Event UR's Chica 5, Event SR's Wonderful Rush Maki and Koi Aqua Yohane, Event Gacha UR's Kotori 5 and Setsuna 4, and Event Gacha SR Love You My Friend Shizuku. First, a very quick note on the SRs from this event. Wonderful Rush Maki, Koi Aqua Yohane, and Love You My Friend Shizuku, out of the 3, the only card that is particularly useful in great quantities is the Wonderful Rush Maki, due to her passive ability, which boosts appeal of other cool attribute cards. The voltage ranking songs for this event are Heart to Heart for Muse, Sky Journey for Aqua, Anata no Riso no Heroine for Nijigasaki. The event UR, Chica 5, or New World Chica, is a natural attribute guard card that is pretty run-of-the-mill when it comes to stats plus abilities. At Limit Break 1, she has 4074 base appeal, 6526 base stamina, and 4185 base technique, giving her a 12.31% crit rate. Her tap active provides a shield based on 23% of her own stamina. Her passive increases the stamina of all members by 3.9% at skill level 4, and her live show active, when you switch strategies, provides stamina recovery equal to 60% of this card's stamina, though it can only be used once per live. While it is nice that we get another free sustain card from an event, as I stated earlier, the stats aren't particularly amazing, so the card itself will most likely only see main strategy play during Dream Live Parade. The first part of the event gacha gives us Kotori 5, or New World Kotori, a Smile attribute SP type card that is strikingly similar to another card of this attribute and typing, Miracle Voyageo. Kotori starts at 5905 base appeal, 4468 base stamina, and 5586 technique, giving her a 16.43% crit rate. Her tap active provides an SP gauge fill of 8% at skill level 3. Her passive provides an all-member technique buff of 3.6% at skill level 3, and her live show active increases the crit rate of all members upon AC completion, though only for the next 5 notes at 3.9%. When comparing this card to Miracle Voyageo, I still believe that Yo is better, as her passive and live show active make for more of an impact, especially when it comes to SP psycho cheesing for SBL. The second part of the event gacha gives us Setsuna 4, or New World Setsuna, an elegant attribute SK type card. This Setsuna comes in with equal 4788 base appeal and stamina, and has 6384 base technique, giving her a 33.78% crit rate, the 5th highest among elegant attribute URs at Limit Break 0. Her tap active makes her the second SK type stamina healer, along with Fesmari at this point of the game as the only 2 cards with this typing and tap active combination. Her passive increases the appeal of other elegant type cards by 4.6% at skill level 3, allowing her to become a backliner if you are running a bunch of elegant attribute cards in your main strategy, and her live show active gives an appeal boost to all cards in the same strategy by 3% upon using your SP skill for the first time. After the conclusion of the Badass Exchange event, we should be getting the second spotlight banner for the month, this time featuring UR Nozomi 5 and SR Love You My Friends I. The Love You My Friends I SR is a fine usable SR in the elegant attribute with many similarities to SR Fruits Ellie. I ends up with roughly 500 more base appeal at max limit break than Ellie. They both share the same tap active and both have decent, not great appeal buff passive abilities, though Fruits Ellie's LSA is much better than Love You My Friend I's. As far as the Spotlight UR, Colorful Nozomi, or Nozo 5 goes, she's the 3rd Spotlight UR in a row that has some sort of hybrid ability, which we will get to shortly. An elegant attribute SK type, you could consider this card to be a budget version of Fespana, just with lower stats and more restrictive abilities. At Limit Break 0, she starts with 5107 base appeal, 4788 base stamina, and 6064 base technique, giving her a 32.84% crit rate. Her tap active is her hybrid ability, giving both an appeal boost by 3.8% for 3rd years for the next 5 notes, and a voltage boost equal to 17% of her own appeal. Her passive is the same as Fest Daya, giving an appeal boost to other 3rd years by 4.6% at skill level 3, and her live show active upon AC completion adds a guaranteed 2.6% of her own appeal to the SP gauge, with no limit as how many times this skill activates. By this point of the game, however, this ability will most likely be irrelevant since you will have high enough skill level UR bracelets to fill your SP gauge upon AC completion. This, in addition to her average stats and abilities, make for a less desirable UR. Along with the Spotlight banner, we again meet Dream Live Parade, this time with the addition of a new tower, the Aqua Tower. This tower has 30 songs, all of them from Aqua, and, to no surprise, for this tower, the Aqua girls have extra PP. Going forward, the addition of this tower, along with the Nijigasaki and Muse towers after it, each school will get extra PP for their tower, while the Trial Tower relegates everyone to a single PP no matter when Dream Live Parade comes up. Finally, at the end of the month of December and bringing us into 2021 will be the Autumn Cooking Marathon event, featuring event UR Pana 5, event SR's Koi Aqua Ruby and Love You My Friends Kanata, event Gacha UR's Maru 5 and ML4, and event Gacha SR Wonderful Rush Umi. For the SRs, the Wonderful Rush Umi gives you yet another usable pure attribute voltage type SR. While not the same power level as Soreboku Maki, this card is essentially a better Toki Runner's Arena. The other two SRs aren't that great, as Koi Aqua Ruby and Love You My Friends Kanata both suffer from the usual weak stat lines and this time, very weak abilities for their typing. The event UR Hanayo, Autumn Kitchen Hanayo or Pana 5, is another active attribute voltage type event UR with weak stats and a very weird set of abilities. At Limit Break 1, she comes in with 5602 base appeal, 4699 base stamina, and 4807 base technique, giving her a 14.14% crit rate. Her tap active provides a voltage gain increase for other active attribute cards by 5.6% for the next 5 notes at skill level 3. Her passive increases the technique of other active attribute cards by 4.9% at skill level 4, and her LSA, upon the first AC completion, increases the appeal of active attribute cards by 1.6% for the remainder of the live. Is the card weak? Yes. But if for some reason you need to boost your active attribute cards and do not own event Hanamaru, if you're able to get 2 medium group insights on her, she'll be an okay but not great substitute. The first part of this event's gacha gives Maru 5, or Autumn Kitchen Maru, a Smile attribute guard type card. At Limit Break 0, she has 4468 base appeal, 7341 base stamina, and 4149 base technique, giving her a 12.2% crit rate. Her tap active is the damage reduction one, reducing damage by a whopping 44% at skill level 3, but only for the next 2 notes. Her passive increases the stamina of other Smile attribute cards by 4.6% at skill level 3, and her live show active is, well, it's freaking awful. When switching strategies, reduce 44% of the damage taken for the next note only, with this skill activating twice per live. All in all, this card will most likely be relegated to stamina stick duty, as even with a crazy damage reduction tap active, this card is still inferior to even an average stamina heal or shield generating guard, SP, or skill type card. To round out our Eat Everything in Sight UR trio, we have the Autumn Kitchen Emma, or ML4. A cool attribute SK type, this card, much like the other cards for this event, is unfortunately quite weak relative for other cards in that attribute and or typing. She comes in with 5905 base appeal, 5586 base stamina, and 4468 base technique, giving her a very low 13.14% crit rate. Her tap active gives a voltage gain for other third years by 5.6% for the next 5 notes at skill level 3. Her passive increases the appeal of other third years by 4.6% at skill level 3. And her live show active, upon switching strategies, gives a voltage boost equal to 100% of her own appeal, only activating once per live. And with that, we conclude this, once again, very lengthy preview on the upcoming events for the month of December. Once again, thank you to Xifrid for help with some of the visual assets for this video. If you have any additional questions regarding any of the events or cards mentioned in the video, feel free to swing by my Twitch at twitch.tv/IAmTheShazz, where I stream 5 times a week. Finally, a big thank you to my Twitch subs, CL Cephas, Shut It, 86 Romy, Minomone, Poker Dottie, AJ Bailey 3, Kotaro-chan, JMSYNR, Medeer_cutie, Super Penguin, and Spicy Quiche, most of whom had gifted subs in the channel as well. I've been IAmTheShazz, take it easy, be nice to each other, and I'll see you all next time.